What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. The season is finally right around the corner. Let's get into the Geelong Collingwood preview. We are finally back. It is been a long way. It feels like an eternity to get to this point. The game is on in 2 days. The football starts tomorrow when Richmond take on Carlton, but our game Friday night, absolutely huge. Like, what a way to kick off our season. We're playing the benchmark team. Like, this team obviously just won the 2022 Premiership. They've only really lost Joel Salwood. They've brought in a bunch of kids, Ollie Henry, yes, being one of them. But they're still just, they're the benchmark team. You want to test yourself against the Premiers. You know what I mean? Like, that's who ultimately you pretty much have to beat to win the Premiership. Now, it's going to be a very interesting game. There is a lot of storylines in this game that we'll get to in a little bit, but I am just first and foremost so G'd up to play. I'm beside myself. I'm so excited. Let's get into it. Friday night in front of what could be probably more than 85,000 people. Collingwood take on Geelong round 1, and it's going to be nothing short of an amazing contest. Geelong against us have won, I think, 4 in a row. We know those 2 games that they won last year was round 3, and obviously that first week of finals. The round 3 game, we go up by 37 or so points. Geelong claw it back thanks to Hawkins and Cameron. And in that finals, that first week of finals, they win by a Max Holmes goal, that Gary Rowan mark. But the Geelong players came out and said that was one of the most difficult games that they have ever played in. The pressure that we had is immense. And look, we don't want to deal in what ifs, what could have been if we beat Sydney, but we are probably one of the only teams that can match it with them. And we proved that. Round 3 was a bit of an anomaly, but it was still an insane game. And then first week of finals as well, we proved that we can bring the pressure. We can score when we need to, and it just didn't fall our way in that game. But that's exactly what we can expect from Friday night's blockbuster, that immense Craig McRae pressure. I'm recording this when the teams haven't been out yet, obviously, because you're seeing this on the Wednesday, so I don't know full teams. We'll talk about that over on my Instagram. But what I'm thinking is that we see 4 black and white debutants, as in Tom Mitchell definitely plays. He's in the best 23. I think we're going to see Billy Frampton over Nathan Murphy, only because, look, I love Nathan Murphy, and maybe he makes it as a sub or something like that. I love Murphy, but to take on Jeremy Cameron and their tall timbers, if Tom Hawkins plays, I don't think he will. We'll talk about that later. We need a big sort of key defender like Billy Frampton. I think Bobby Hill plays. He's going to be absolutely electric. We saw glimpses of what he could do in the preseason matches. We're going to see it again in round 1. And of course, Dan McStay plays because he is the man going forward. He is the next Travis Cloak, which is a tweet that I sent out, I think after the Carlton game. But I think those 4 debutants in black and white. I don't think we'll see any sort of debutants. So it talks about Ed Allen playing. I think he'll start through the VFL. Hasn't had a very convincing preseason, but he has signed a 2-year contract, so we'll see him come through the VFL. On Geelong's side, they're going to be without Sam Menegola. They're going to be possibly without Tom Hawkins, who is still trying to overcome that injury. So he may not play. It's 50-50 pretty much. They're saying that he won't play, but we know that when Collingwood comes up against a team that has players that won't play, they usually end up playing. So we might see Tom Hawkins, might not. Jeremy Cameron is the interesting one. His wife might go into labour that day, and he said that if she goes into labour, he'll either miss the game or he'll be playing the game. She goes into labour during the game. He's going to come off. They'll sub him out or whatever, and he'll leave. So that's going to be another interesting one. And of course, Mitch Duncan, another premiership hero. He just came back from a South Australian training block for his calf, but he might not be able to get up in time. And then you got Jack Henry that might not play either. Oh, not might not play. He definitely won't play. So they're missing a lot of premiership stars, and they're just missing a lot of players in general. And I always say you want to beat teams when they're at 100%. You want to beat the best 22, but that's never going to happen all the time. Our team's never going to have their best 22 or 23 now out there on the park. So just battle the wounded giant. You know what I mean? Like, Tom Hawkins eats us up alive every single time he plays us. So does Jeremy Cameron. But hopefully we won't have to take on those two at the same time again. So that's when you've got Billy Frampton just staying down on Jeremy Cameron. Then you've got Jeremy Howe, Braden Maynard, Darcy Moore just sort of peeling off, floating in when they need to. Obviously, Geelong are very dangerous in every other area in the ground. But those key pillars, especially, Jack Henry, Mitch Duncan's run, Tom Hawkins if he's not there, they will wound Geelong a little bit, not a lot. It'll still be a hard-fought game, but I think obviously it works in our favour. And with us, we don't really have that many injuries. We miss out Patrick Lipinski, obviously, with that shoulder. Won't be back until halfway through the season. That's going to suck, but I think that either Will Hoskin-Elliott gets a call-up. I think Will Hoskin-Elliott is a bit on the outer, but we might see him just in place of Lipinski, who probably pushes up as a sort of high half forward. And we might see Reece McInnes too. He's done a lot of nice things. They're playing him sort of out of the goal square or just as a deep sort of forward. He's a tall boy. Would probably play midfield any other sort of day, but they're trying him out as a forward now. Or Josh Carmichael, who's had another great preseason. So we'll definitely see, I think Will Hoskin we'll definitely see. But then we've got that, who is our 23rd man? Who is that sort of sub? And I think it's out of Reece McInnes, Josh Carmichael. If I had to choose, it'll probably go to Reece McInnes. This game is going to be won and lost in the middle. We know that last year we were really, really, really poor in centre clearances. So we bring in a Tom Mitchell who just linked up so well with sort of De Goey, Crisp as well in the preseason. Just in and under, handballing it out, you know what I mean? Taylor Adams comes back in. He ripped off his groin muscle in that final against Geelong. So what that meant is we lost Taylor Adams for that game. We lost him for the rest of the final series. He comes back and he looks like an absolutely new player. So we're pretty much getting a new recruit in Taylor Adams. And that's where it's going to be won and lost, really. That midfield, you've got Dangerfield, Tom Atkins, you no more Joel Selwood. You got Blissarves in the middle as well. I don't want to say it because, look, it gets said all the time and they just prove you wrong. But it is an aging midfield. And I know we're not sort of the youngest team. I think we got the fifth or sixth oldest list or something like that. But I think that's where we might be able to get him. Inject that youth. Inject Nick Dacos, Isaac Quaynor in the middle, Jack Crisp. Those sort of guys, Braden Maynard, who can just go through and tear it up. I'm not saying that the Cats are going to lay down, but we've got this sort of redemption that we need to get, and there's just going to be a bit more fire in our bellies, I feel, than Geelong. And yes, they've got a premiership defence, premiership forward line, premiership midfield. I get it. But I just feel like if we can get that sort of connection, that Tom Mitchell, I've been saying it, he's the missing piece of this puzzle. If we can kind of get him moving, get him working with De Goey, who was just going to be phenomenal this season, we might be seeing the start of something great on Friday night. I mentioned that there was a lot of different storylines going into this game. We see two new captains. Patrick Dangerfield takes captaincy of Geelong, and we see Darcy Moore in his first proper game as captain of the Collingwood Football Club. That's going to be really, really interesting. I can't wait to see just how Moore sort of goes about it. We know we saw him a little bit in the preseason, but this is the first captaincy big game. Over 85,000 is what I'm guessing. He has to stand up. He's going to stand up. It's just going to be incredible to watch Moore, go out there for the toss in the middle and stuff like that. And I'm just so excited. Another storyline, I talked about it quickly, was that redemption. Talked about it at the start of the video as well. We need to redeem that finals loss. It still hurts. I know, we can't live in what ifs and we should be forgetting about it and stuff, but it does still hurt a little bit when you think about it, when you see the videos and stuff like that. And especially, round 3 being 6 or 7 or so goals up and then losing that game. We've got a lot to prove to our doubters as well, the media as well. If we can knock off Geelong in round 1, the media is just going to absolutely shut the hell up. The last storyline I want to quickly talk about is the storyline of Ollie Henry. We know what's happened. He kind of, I don't want to say he led the club along, but told the club that he wanted to go to Geelong. The club offered him what they thought he was worth. Yes, he's won us a bunch of games and he kicked a bunch of goals and stuff like that. I loved how Ollie Henry went about it. could have improved, a little bit here defensively and stuff like that. He's a young kid though. But he wanted to go back to Geelong to be with his family. He wanted to go back and play with his brother. Now, lots of comments and stuff like that, calling him a snake and Maynard's going to tear him a new one and he's going to get booed. I know he's going to get booed. That's just the way it goes, It's just going to happen. There's nothing I can say that's going to stop that. But I don't know. You can't really, and I said this at the time when he left. Like, yeah, it sucks, and he did play the club a little bit in that, and his manager as well. But he just wanted to go back to his family. That's at the end of the day, that is what it is. I think we ended up getting Tom Mitchell out of that, and a pick maybe or something like that. Cooper Stevens went to Hawthorn in that trade as well, so we saw a little bit of good come out of it. Yes, the circumstances weren't great, but what can you do? It is what it is. And this has a all duck, no dinner feel about it. You just feel like if Ollie Henry does play, which I'm assuming he is, the boys are just going to get stuck into him. Like, we know Maynard, we know Isaac Quaynor. They're just going to get absolutely stuck into him. My predictions for this game. So, I think Collingwood are going to win by 10 points. It's going to be another close game. Classic, we start our season with a close game, but that's what I am predicting. Who's going to be the standout? I've got Dan McStay kicking 3 goals. I was going to say 4, but I think 3 goals is, a nice start to his career, and Jordan De Goey is just going to terrorise Geelong. So those are my predictions. Let me know all your predictions down below. Guys, I'm excited, I'm thrilled, oh my God, it starts in 2 days. The footy starts tomorrow, but our season, our footy starts in 2 days, and I cannot wait. Vlogs are coming back. You just saw Opposition Views, which was released before this video. Go watch it with Anna Pavlou, an amazing Geelong supporter, super knowledgeable, just incredible to chat with. We've got vlogs coming back as well on Friday night. If you see me, come say hi. We'll get you in a vlog and stuff like that. Be a little bit of fun. Lots of exciting stuff happening through the season. Player chats and stuff like that. I just can't wait. It's here. Let's go. Flag Pies 2023. It's coming home. But until then, like, comment, subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll soup you later.